Good afternoon. I'm Scott Moon for ScottMoonWriter.com. Welcome to the Moon Base. We're here streaming live to my YouTube channel and also to the Facebook group, the Moon Base. Glad you're here. A few quick things. Well, actually, let's get right to it. The main thing is what I'm doing today is a book review for Edge of Valor by some dude named Josh Hayes. I'm going to tell you right now that my intro went way smoother than the 3 times I practiced it before we started. A few things I want to cover. Hey, Dean, glad to see you here. A few things I want to cover before we get started. One is I will be monitoring some of the comments through StreamYard. So sometimes I can see people's names. For example, Dean is known to StreamYard apparently, and so we can connect more easily. Sometimes you'll show up as Facebook user. It's too complicated for me to go back and forth between Facebook and StreamYard and keep up and not sound like a blubbering idiot, especially since I'm solo today. Thomas, glad to hear you. Thomas Hoddle says, never heard of him, is any good. And we're going to get to that. We'll see. I know that he's probably pretty anxious about this type of review. He did share this video to his author page, so we'll see if we can do it some justice. I've also shared this to Keystroke Medium, which is a podcast I'm part of, and where we have a running joke about titles involving the word Valor. That hence the name of this particular episode, Review of Valor, because I'm going to do the review. A couple of quick, hey Josh, good to see you made it. A couple of quick things. So I do have a glass of water over here. You know, I've practiced this enough times. I can't remember if I've already said that, but I have this glass of water. So if you see me consuming, that's part of the show. I have my prop over here, which is a laptop. It really doesn't do anything because it just has a sleep screen on. I like to look around, pretend like I'm in a fancy studio. The only other prop I have is this paperback copy of Edge of Valor. I just ordered the hardback, which brings me to a quick point about this. This was published by Athon Press. Get that right there. It's a little fiery bird, Athon. They're an up-and-coming publisher. They produce a high-quality product for everything from the book covers to the editing services. They have audiobooks, and you can get things, well, in this case, you can get it in hardback, which is not always the case these days. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to start off with a couple of things. I'm going to have to use my readers because I'm not high-tech with a high-tech screen. And we're going to read the description off the back of the book. I'll talk about some of my thoughts on the story and why it's different from other military sci-fi. And then maybe I'll read the bio. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, Edge of Valor. When their mission fails, his begins. Special Agent Jackson Fisher is a man after truth. When a military operation to extract a high-ranking ambassador from the war-torn border world of Stonemaier ends in disaster, Fisher is called in to investigate. A whole platoon went in, but only 3 Alliance Marines returned home. The rest killed in action along with hundreds of civilians. With tensions between the Holloman Alliance and Stonemaier rising, Fisher attempts to stitch together the pieces. One thing becomes more and more certain. Surviving Marines are lying. As the truth unfurls, Fisher begins to realize this war was far... I'm going to do that one again. As the truth unfurls, Fisher begins to realize this was far more than a simple rescue mission, and that the truth might be something better left buried. That was a tough one right there. So I'm not going to do spoilers. I actually read this book quite a bit ago when it very first came out. I know a lot about the concept, and I know a lot about how it developed and how the story grew into what it is. There's a few other things I forgot to mention now. You might see from the show poster that this had a review from David Weber. And people know David Weber. He's kind of a big deal in science fiction. He gave a huge amount of praise for this book, which I totally agree with. Now, I've read it. I've listened to it in audiobook. The audiobook narration is fantastic. I definitely recommend checking that out. So why is Edge of Valor different than a lot of military science fiction? One, it's an actual thriller. It's a military science fiction thriller, technically. You're dealing with characters that you have some unreliable characters and unreliable narrative. You know, you might think of The Usual Suspects or something like that, but in space, right? So the details of the military mission are, like most of his other books, they have some really great action sequences. They're kind of gritty. he's a veteran and is, fluent in the genre of military science fiction, and it makes it, just about as real and believable as you can, being, a science fiction novel. But the real strength of this, what really sets it apart, is going to be the thriller. So you have this mission, you have these individuals. Kind of reminds me of Black Hawk Down in a way, except like if you went in afterward and picked it apart and found out there was some nefarious CIA plot things going on like that. So from this review, you can obviously tell that I do like the book. I read you the blurb. I considered doing a reading from inside of the book, which I might do or might not. I haven't really decided. So let's get into a couple of quick things with why I mentioned David Weber. So as a writer myself, it's not often that you get to garner the praise of one of your idols. So let's read Josh's bio. Josh Hayes is a USAF veteran and retired police officer turned author. In addition to the Valor series, his works include Striker's War, Galaxy's Edge, and the Terra Nova Chronicles with Richard Fox, as well as numerous short stories. His love of military science fiction can be traced all the way back to when he picked up his first Honor Harrington novel, as well as a healthy portion of Tom Clancy and Michael Crichton. So that's kind of where I was wandering around there, because obviously the Honor Harrington novels by David Weber are a huge series, and he was able to get a review from that prestigious individual. The book also, if you start thinking about Tom Clancy and Michael Crichton and David Weber, if they all wrote a book together, maybe it would be Edge of Valor. I don't know. Josh is the president and host of Keystroke Medium, a popular community for writers of all levels, which produce weekly content and live YouTube videos. You can see me. I head over there. I run my mouth over there a little bit sometimes too. And when he's not writing and podcasting, Josh spends time with his wife, Jamie, and his 4 children. You can find out more about his books at joshhayeswriter.com. All right. Hello, Joe. Glad to see you here. Like I said, I'm trying to monitor the comments and the people in the chat group there, but I'm not always good at multitasking. Thomas says Jurassic Park of Valor, a Jack Ryan novel. That would be good. I would read that as well. So all in all, this is just a book review. So what you can expect from Edge of Valor. One, you can expect some gritty characters. You get into their personalities. You get into their relationships and why they matter. You're also going to face a story that you need to pay attention to, because not everything as it seems. So Jackson Fisher is a special investigator, kind of a what's the military show? It's like CSI. But anyway, he is going to go out and find out what happened after this incident happened, where lots of people died. You had soldiers that died, you had civilians that died, you had a big international incident that could lead to a war. And he does his interviews, which is something Josh has experienced as an officer. I'm also an officer. I know kind of how this goes. You do an interview, you get some information, you got to verify and corroborate and look for, the truth or untruths in that. And as a reader, I find it really fascinating, because each interview is its own story, and you get really sucked into that story. And then you get in, so the first interview, you go through the story, like, yeah, this is awesome. But then you start to realize that something's wrong with the story. And then Fisher and his partner, they go and they find other witnesses, they interview them. Some of them are more or less straightforward. All of them have a different piece of the puzzle to add to the story. And, they start getting eliminated or having accidents and whatnot. It's going to lead, like most thrillers, to a huge revelation at the end. I highly recommend it. And I would say go out, get it on audio, because the audio narration is one of the best I've listened to for years. So do that. And that's about all I got to say about it. I haven't done just a strict book review for a while. Normally I get on my show, I talk about writing, or I get some people on and, we hang out and shoot the breeze, because writing is a solitary job, and we like to have fun and hang out. And sometimes we, share it with our group. So I appreciate everybody that came. If you want to support the Moonbase or Keystroke Medium or Edge of Valor, please share this around. The final thing, the reason I made this video, and part of the problem is that I did this late. I should have done this last week, because Edge of Valor is an award nominee. Now, the Dragon Awards is a reader choice award. You can go and vote on it. All you got to do is look it up, and you send them your email, and they will send you a ballot. Now, the main reason, or the main problem with why I kind of failed by doing this so late, is I did vote for Edge of Valor because I think it's clearly deserves the award, and I would like everybody else to vote for it too. The problem is they have to send you the ballot. So if you have already sent in requesting your ballot for the Dragon Awards, go down to the military sci-fi section, select Josh Hayes and vote for him. There's some really other excellent authors that he's competing against. Jason Onspach and Nick Cole of Galaxy's Edge. They, of course, do amazing work. Marco Cluse is on the ballot, several other fantastic sci-fi authors. So he's in really good company. And those authors have been around for a while. They have a huge fan base. If you want Edge of Valor to win, you got to go vote. So I hope you do that. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and request the ballot for the Dragon Awards right now, because you might get it quick. You might not, but definitely give it a try. If you have it, vote. It'd be great. So a couple of comments from the live chat here before I go. Joe, thank you for buying it. He says he's already bought it. He's got the paperback. A hardback would be cool. Yeah, I really like hardbacks, and I'm making a row on my bookshelf over here where I'm going to put nothing but hardbacks. And so I'm excited to get this. We'll see what the quality of it is. Jay Clifton Slater says Edge of Valor is a modern day classic. I agree. I think that there are a lot of great military sci-fi books coming out right now. You have traditionally published authors, independent authors, hybrid authors putting things out and kind of filling a void where there wasn't enough writers for that for a long time. And I think a lot of them come and go. This one's going to stay, because, I mean, you can reread this book again if you want, and you get more out of it every time. So let's see. I should probably put the Dragon Awards link in here if I knew how to do that. Let's see if I can do that. Trying one thing. Oh, there we go. application.dragoncon.net/DC or _fan_awards_signup.php. So go check that out. Give it a vote. There's also several other series on there. I mean, there's fantasy entries, there's other versions of sci-fi, or other genres of sci-fi or subclassifications. So check those out. If you've read any of those, throw out a vote, because it means a lot to authors to get these awards. They can help with promotion. And, it's just nice to have a little validation when you've done something and put that much work into it. Also, if you have read Edge of Valor, go to Amazon, leave a review. If you're somebody who's fluent in Goodreads, which I'm not, leave a review there as well. Every little bit helps. I was talking to some family members yesterday about completely unrelated topics, and the subject of a Google review came up for a product that's not a book. And what the deal is that people will, if they have a good experience, they don't really spend the time to review it that much. They're just happy and they go on about their day. But if they have a bad experience, they'll leave a bad review. Now, if you go and look at a book and it has a high rating, high star average, and some good reviews, it makes it a lot easier for people who might be on the fence of whether they want to spend $2 or $3 on a book to buy. This, spoiler alert, the Edge of Valor has good reviews, but the more you get, the better. It just really helps. So get out there, push the book to your friends who would like something like this. Dean says fluent in Goodreads. Yeah, you have to, it's kind of, the site navigation is very difficult. I agree. And that's the main reason I don't use Goodreads, is just because it takes me 2 or 3 minutes to get to where I want to go. And a few times I've tried to add books to it, I wind up like double adding them or something. But Goodreads is a great, it's more for readers than anybody else. And a review on Goodreads means a lot. So if you're somebody who's fluent, unlike me, then leave a Goodreads review. If you wanted to go the extra mile, you could go check out some of my books and release some reviews on there because I appreciate them. I'm going to sign off now. Everybody, thanks for coming. I haven't been doing many book reviews in this format for a while. I'm going to start doing more. So look forward to some of those. I'm also going to try to get some of my writer friends on here to do some chatting and just hanging out. It's mostly just about talking about books and stuff. I'm not really here to talk about how to be a writer. Although if you have questions about that, definitely message me or shoot it in the live chat if you're watching one of the shows. And I'm always willing to geek out on that stuff. I just don't want to bore anybody with it. And there's better platforms for writer discussions where we have whole teams of editors, writers, creators of all types doing that. And I'm talking about Keystroke Medium. So if you ever wanted to write in this genre or others, go over to Keystroke Medium. It's a great place to get started. You'll find a group of people that are fun to hang out with, and that's always good. So, all right, I'm gonna take out of here. Be safe. I will see you next time. Thanks, Joe.